But now we've told you that we have our reporters in different parts of the country, in some of the affected counties, just, looking at the situation there. And let's talk to a reporter, Elvis Kosgei. Yesterday, he was in West Pokot County, spoke to John Lonyangapu, the governor of West Pokot. He's also looking at the situation in Turkana. Of course, we've also had a story from our very own Brian Obuya, who was in Turkana before he came back. And Elvis Kosgei is joining us via way of phone. Kosgei, good morning. And of course, it is not a good morning for some Kenyans who are actually facing starvation. Government says no Kenyan has died because of hunger. Is that the same situation on the ground? And how dire are the needs of Kenyans who are facing hunger where you are?
Thank you very much, Brenda. We're coming to you from Turkana South. This is in Turkana County. And I think the what the government has been putting out there, because the situation is dire. I can mention a few areas, especially let's start with Turkana North. We have almost 6 areas that have been affected by the drought. An area like Iwan, Kokuro, Meyan, Milimatatu, Keri, Kanarukodio, and Nakalale. When you come to Turkana West, you have areas like Nanam, Nasinyeno, Napukpuk, Oropoi, Tulabai, Turkana East, you have areas like Kapedo, Lomelo, Kamuge, Naipetun. Turkana Central, we have 7 areas here: Napeteo, Kerio, Lesar, Eseket, Doima, Urum. Currently, Turkana South, and this is one of the areas that has experienced one of the worst hunger crises in the recent times due to the prolonged drought. The current drought is, I'm told, that is worse in a number of ways than that happened in 2011 and also 2016, because some areas here are experiencing the failure of 3 rains in a row. Now, yesterday I talked to Turkana South Member of Parliament, James Lomenen, and according, I say that in his area here in Turkana South, at least he was able to establish 3 people who died so far. But it's just a small time of the remaining time that of course, you want to establish the victims where the families have been affected. And as you can see now, currently you have peace tent here in Turkana South. But areas also in Turkana North that I'm told has worst been hit by the drought is an area like Kokro, Liwan. This is an area between Kibich and Lokitang. So what the government is putting out there, I think it contradicts the exact picture of what has been happening here in the drought, because we are seeing the issue of elderly and the widows are now moving to urban centers because of the severe drought that has been witnessed here. The drought due maybe to the climate change have also affected livelihood. You can see the issue of food price shooting up and livestock market price maybe shooting down. There's also an issue of influx of people to Turkana County due to oil increase. Maybe this has also affected the food supply in the region. They have also affected people in the rural moving in urban centers, such as children, like I told you, widows, and the aged people. So the situation here is dire. The government is saying that we don't have anyone who has died because of drought. I think that contradicts the exact picture that which we are witnessing here on the ground.
Elvis, it's good you've talked about food prices, and that's the same thing that the Deputy President William Ruto yesterday said, that food prices are not so high. But what you're telling us is that food prices have gone up. But the question is, basically what Kenyans are asking is that during elections, it's very easy for probably ballot papers to reach these far-flanked areas. But then, when Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Omalo was talking to our very own Sophia Anuna on Sunday during Checkpoint, he said that some of these areas cannot be reached because of probably infrastructure, which begs the question, then for how long will these Kenyans wait for food to reach their destination?
Okay, when it comes to the issue of infrastructure, I've been covering this Turkana County for a while, and it lies under a scale of 77,000 square kilometers, and we are deplorable infrastructural condition. But as of now, you can see the road networks have been improved by the county and the national government. So the issue where I think the bone of contention here is that the government has delayed maybe to supply this relief food to these areas, because we foresaw this drought exactly maybe a year ago. And if you can say maybe there's some areas where the government maybe should have put in place tough and innovative measures to ensure that these areas receive the relief food that is required. I can also mention the issue of refugees, because refugees in an area like Kakuma, this is in Turkana West there, they have made food really scarce because it is being purchased by the host community. Now we have wrangles between the host community and the refugees, maybe from the South Sudan and also the Toposa. So I think for the government of Kenya, it's a big letdown to the residents of Turkana.
All right, Elvis, and the last, just before I let you go, just my last question is what is the county government of Turkana saying? Because we've also had Josephat Nanok, the Turkana governor, issuing contradicting information, saying that those are not the pictures, the true picture of what is on the ground, because pictures have been circulating on social media.
Okay, yesterday we spoke to the county boss, Josephat Nanok in Lodwar Town, Turkana County, and they said they have put in place tough and innovative measures to ensure that they reach out to the victims, the families that have been affected. But now, according to Aro is now erupting because the Turkana South Member of Parliament, James Lomanen, said earlier that he had warned the county government that the situation is dire, but then the county government did not do anything to ensure that the residents had enough food. But now it's a small matter of the remaining time. We're exactly going to the villages in those areas that are perceived to be remote just to establish. Then I think pictures I think by the end of the day we'll be having pictures that will show the dire situation in Turkana County. Of course, it contradicts the one that we've been showing in the social media. Of course, we are told that some pictures are of 2012, 2014, others are in the countries like Ethiopia, but they're just small matter of the remaining time that will determine the fate of the Turkana County, especially the residents here.
Gay, talking to us from Turkana County. We'll give you those live pictures as and when we get them, just to paint the real reality on the ground. Is it the same thing as what the government is saying, that